Imagine being so afraid of your own family member that you decide they have to die. That's exactly what happened when Kim Jong Un made one of the most shocking decisions in modern history. On February 13, 2017, at a busy airport in Malaysia, a brutal assassination took place that would send shockwaves around the world. The victim was Kim Jong Nam, the half-brother of North Korea's supreme leader. The killer? His own brother, Kim Jong Un. Today, we're going to dive deep into one of the most dramatic and disturbing family feuds in political history. We'll explore what led to this deadly betrayal, how the assassination was carried out, and why it changed everything we thought we knew about the Kim family. This isn't just a story about murder. It's about power, paranoia, and the lengths someone will go to protect their throne. So buckle up, because this story is more twisted than any thriller movie you've ever seen. Let's start at the beginning to understand how two brothers ended up as deadly enemies. Kim Jong Nam was born in 1971, making him about 13 years older than Kim Jong Un. He was the eldest son of Kim Jong Il, North Korea's former dictator. For many years, people thought Kim Jong Nam would be the next leader of North Korea. He was smart, well-educated, and seemed like the obvious choice to take over from his father. But Kim Jong Nam had a problem. He didn't really want the job. Unlike his younger half-brother, Kim Jong Nam preferred living outside of North Korea. He spent most of his time in China and other countries, enjoying a more relaxed lifestyle. He wasn't interested in the strict rules and constant pressure that came with being North Korea's leader. Kim Jong Nam also made some public statements that embarrassed his father and the North Korean government. In 2001, he was caught trying to enter Japan with a fake passport. Why? He wanted to visit Tokyo Disneyland with his family. This incident was deeply embarrassing for North Korea and showed that Kim Jong Nam cared more about personal freedom than political power. Over the years, Kim Jong Nam became more critical of North Korea's system. He gave interviews to foreign journalists where he suggested that North Korea needed to change. He even questioned whether his younger brother was ready to lead the country. These comments made him extremely dangerous in Kim Jong-un's eyes. When Kim Jong-il died in 2011, Kim Jong-un became the new leader at just 27 years old. Many people were surprised by this choice since he was so young and had very little experience. Kim Jong-un knew that some people thought his older brother would have been a better choice. This made him incredibly paranoid about Kim Jong-nam's existence. Even though Kim Jong-nam lived in exile and showed no interest in politics, he represented a threat. As long as he was alive, he could potentially be used by other countries or groups who wanted to challenge Kim Jong-un's rule. Kim Jong-un had already shown he was willing to kill family members to protect his power. In 2013, he ordered the execution of his own uncle, Jang Song-tak, who he saw as a threat. So killing his half-brother wasn't completely out of character. But the way he did it was absolutely shocking. Instead of having Kim Jong-nam killed quietly, Kim Jong-un planned an elaborate public assassination. The plan was to make it look like an accident while also sending a clear message to anyone else who might challenge him. The assassination took place at Kuala Lumpur International Airport in Malaysia on February 13, 2017. Kim Jong Nam was waiting for a flight to Macau, where he lived with his family. He had no idea that North Korean agents had been tracking his movements for weeks. The plan involved using two young women who had no idea they were about to commit murder. The first woman was Siti Aisyah, a 25-year-old from Indonesia. The second was Doan Thi Huang, a 28-year-old from Vietnam. Both women thought they were participating in a harmless prank for a TV show. North Korean agents had spent weeks training them for this moment. They told the women they would be part of a funny video where they would surprise people by putting lotion or oil on their faces. The women practiced this prank several times at shopping malls and other public places. They had no idea the substance they would eventually use was VX nerve agent, one of the most deadly chemical weapons in the world. VX is so dangerous that even a tiny amount can kill someone within minutes. It's banned by international law and is only supposed to be used by military forces in extreme situations. The fact that North Korea was able to get this chemical weapon shows how serious they were about this assassination. On the morning of February 13th, everything was ready. Kim Jong Nam arrived at the airport around 9 a.m. for his 10:50 a.m. flight. He was dressed casually and seemed relaxed, with no idea what was about to happen. The two women were already in position, waiting for the signal from their North Korean handlers. At around 9:20 a.m., the plan went into action. Siti Aisha approached Kim Jong Nam from behind while he was checking in for his flight. She quickly rubbed the VX agent on his face, focusing on his eyes and mouth area. Just seconds later, Doan Thi Huang did the same thing from a different angle. The whole attack took less than 10 seconds. Both women immediately ran to bathrooms to wash their hands, just as they had been instructed. Kim Jong Nam was confused and started feeling sick right away. He went to the airport's medical center and told them that someone had sprayed something on his face. The airport staff tried to help him, but it was already too late. The VX nerve agent was working quickly through his system. Within 20 minutes, Kim Jong Nam was dead. The two women were arrested within hours, but they insisted they thought it was just a prank. Security cameras at the airport captured the entire assassination, making it one of the most well-documented murders in history. The footage shows how calm and normal everything looked, which makes it even more disturbing. When news of the assassination broke, it created an international crisis. Malaysia was furious that North Korea had used their country as the location for this murder. The relationship between Malaysia and North Korea, which had been friendly for decades, was completely destroyed. Malaysia expelled the North Korean ambassador and canceled visa-free travel for North Korean citizens. North Korea, of course, denied any involvement in the assassination. They claimed Kim Jong Nam died of a heart attack and that Malaysia was lying about the whole thing, but the evidence was overwhelming. Investigators found that several North Korean agents had been in Malaysia for weeks before the assassination. These agents had rented cars, booked hotel rooms, and carefully planned every detail of the operation. Most of these agents managed to escape Malaysia and return to North Korea before they could be arrested. The two women who actually carried out the killing faced the death penalty in Malaysia. Their trials became international news as the world tried to understand how they could have been tricked into committing such a horrible crime. Both women maintained their innocence, saying they really believed they were just making a funny video. The evidence showed that North Korean agents had spent months manipulating them. The agents had paid them small amounts of money for the practice runs and promised them more money for the final video. The women had no idea they were being used as weapons in a political assassination. In 2019, after 2 years in prison, both women were released. The Malaysian government decided they were victims rather than criminals. Siti Aisyah was released first, followed by Doan Thi Huang a few months later. But the bigger question remained. Why did Kim Jong Un feel he needed to kill his brother? The answer reveals a lot about how paranoid and insecure Kim Jong Un really is. Even though Kim Jong Nam had no interest in politics, his very existence was a problem. Other countries could have used him as an alternative leader if they ever wanted to replace Kim Jong Un. China, in particular, had a good relationship with Kim Jong Nam and might have preferred him as North Korea's leader. By killing his brother, Kim Jong Un was eliminating any possibility of being replaced. He was also sending a message to the world. Nobody is safe from his reach, not even family members living in other countries. The assassination showed that Kim Jong Un was willing to use the most extreme methods to protect his power. It also revealed how sophisticated North Korea's spy network really is. The fact that they could plan and carry out such a complex operation in a foreign country was shocking to many intelligence experts. The death of Kim Jong Nam also had personal consequences for his family. His wife and children, who were living in Macau, suddenly found themselves in danger. They had to go into hiding and rely on protection from various governments. Kim Jong Nam's son, Kim Han-sol, even released a video thanking the world for protecting his family. The young man looked terrified and made it clear that he feared for his life. This showed that Kim Jong Un's paranoia extended beyond just his brother to include his brother's entire family. The assassination also changed how other world leaders viewed Kim Jong Un. Before this incident, some people thought he might be different from his father and grandfather. They hoped he might be more reasonable and open to working with other countries. But the brutal killing of Kim Jong Nam showed that Kim Jong Un was just as ruthless as the previous North Korean leaders. It made negotiations with North Korea much more difficult because nobody could trust someone who would kill his own brother. The international community responded with even stronger sanctions against North Korea. The United Nations condemned the assassination and called it a violation of international law. Several countries that had maintained diplomatic relationships with North Korea started to distance themselves. The assassination also revealed new information about North Korea's chemical weapons program. The use of VX nerve agents showed that North Korea had access to weapons that most countries don't have. This raised serious concerns about what other dangerous weapons they might be hiding. Intelligence agencies around the world had to reassess how dangerous North Korea really was. The fact that they were willing to use chemical weapons in a foreign country suggested they might use them in other situations too. Today, more than 6 years after the assassination, the impact is still being felt. Kim Jong Un has continued to eliminate anyone he sees as a threat, including other government officials and military leaders. The death of Kim Jong Nam marked a turning point in how the world views the North Korean regime. It showed that Kim Jong Un's government is willing to break any rule and cross any line to maintain power. The assassination also highlighted how innocent people can become victims of political conflicts. The 2 women who carried out the killing were manipulated and used by people who didn't care about their lives. They were lucky to survive and be released, but their lives were forever changed by this experience. The assassination of Kim Jong Nam remains one of the most shocking political murders of our time. It revealed the true nature of Kim Jong Un's regime and showed how far he would go to protect his power. The fact that he was willing to kill his own brother in such a public and brutal way sent a clear message to anyone who might challenge him. This story shows us that family loyalty means nothing when power is at stake. It also reminds us how dangerous the world can be when unstable leaders have access to deadly weapons. The death of Kim Jong Nam changed international relations and made the world a more dangerous place. If you found this story as shocking as I did, make sure to hit that like button and let me know in the comments what you think about this whole situation. Have you been following the North Korea situation? And do you think Kim Jong Un will ever face consequences for what he did? Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more stories about the dark side of world politics. And remember, the truth is often stranger and more disturbing than any fiction we could imagine.